One. Hey, guys, Alex of These Pelzer here, your voice manager, coming to you with another episode of the Speak Easy podcast, where we go behind the scenes and what it means to be the successfully paid speaker or author. That part. I am the founder of the World Voice League. And guys, I know you saw the title of the topic for today, Reinvention of Me. And what does that really mean, especially in the time and the space that we're in right now? Listen, we're going to talk about some truths. We're going to go and talk about some places for you to get that inspiration, to get that support. But not just that, I have an amazing guest that'll be on today that is going to give you some insight from her perspective of what that whole reinvention looks like. So with that being said, I'm super excited. Make sure that you drop us a review. We want to know how this episode resonated with you. bit.ly/Speakeasy Podcast Show, all lowercase. And listen, let's dive into today's topic.
Yes. Hi, everyone. I'm Linda Thompson, and I'm so glad to be with everyone today. And I thank our host for bringing me on today to talk to each of you. We are living in the time when so much is going on, and we have to really pull deep within.
That's a great place to start, because when we think about this whole reinvention, a lot of people think reinventing me takes more outside work than it does inside work. So let's talk about that for a little bit.
Okay, when we are, and I can say been there, done that, it does take more inside work, because we can dress up the outside and stuff and still feel, yucky on the inside. And we all have dealt with stress and burnt out, things like that. And so when we get to that point, that we have to find a way to refresh ourselves, restore ourselves. And that's what I had to do. And because I had forgotten about me. We get so busy sometimes, and we forget about taking care of ourselves. And the things that we have to do, sometimes we have to just sit back, step back, and acknowledge that, hey, something isn't right. And when we see that, that's when we have to make a decision, the next thing of what we're going to do.
That's definitely important. That realization that something's not working at 100%.
Correct.
And when we make that realization, I know for me, it was years after the divorce. It was years after, finding out my girls were molested and all of these things that I had to come to grip moment where, okay, no, there's really something else is missing in the midst of all of this.
That's true. Because in my case, I was if anyone had ever been a caregiver or taking care of someone who's been sick for a while, we put a lot of, and you work in, you have children, you have the family, you put more attention into them. And that's how I lost myself until one day I went on a trip. And the girl at the desk, I always go to Myrtle Beach. I love Myrtle Beach. And the girl said, Miss Thompson, where you been? And I'm like, what? And that was like a light bulb coming on. I really haven't been doing some of the things I really, really enjoy doing. And that's why I said sometimes we got to step back and see what we need to do and bring about a change.
Now, I want to highlight this next point, because I think when it comes to reinventing ourselves, there's this fear. The fear is, when I'm reinventing myself, that the people around me need to be okay with the process I'm going through and the person I'm becoming.
Well, a lot of times, it's sad to say, the people around you, sometimes they just don't get it. And they might not be the main one that you need to talk to. You need to talk to someone that's mutual. Sometimes we need to get professional help, or we need to decide that this is happening to me. I know this is real, because a lot of times people tell us to brush things off. But long as you know that something is going on, you have to do all that you can to make it better. Yeah. You get
Most
support.
definitely.
Yeah, we get support, but we have to know that this is for the betterment of me, and we know ourselves better than anyone else. But
You got to become your own advocate.
You really do. You really do. Because when I was, doing, busy doing the things that I was doing, people just, if they know you're active anyway, they won't see that, hey, she's burnt out. But then I got a wake-up call when I went to the doctor, and she told me, and she said, I have to send you straight to the hospital because you're working on fumes. I had gotten on autopilot. And she said, you probably would have been dead the next day had you not come today. So that was another wake-up call that I have to do something different. I have to take care of myself. I help everybody else. And as you know, we as professionals, we helping everybody else, but sometimes we let ourselves go.
Definitely. So it's interesting that you would say that too, because I think that in the midst of the confusion, in the midst of the chaos and everything that's going on right now, that's something that I've been telling people to hold on to and to push towards, is that this is your moment to rest.
Yes, that's very true, because I was having a call yesterday with someone, and they said, what big change has come about during this time? And to me, I said, it gave me a time to slow down, because we get real busy and we just have to, step back a little bit, and I can still do what I do, through Zoom and other ways, but physically I'm not on the road as much as I was before.
Oh, because it definitely takes a toll on you. And even when it comes to just, and people, Speakeasy podcast listeners, I want you to understand this and picture this, that there is a high number of people who have heart attacks on Monday morning. Because they have to go to a job, they have to sit in traffic, they have to be stressed out, or they may be in a high stress workplace. And so that is a time where they're going through the most stress. So imagine you've been given a month, a couple months for you to kind of readjust. And I always say it like this: find your new normal.
Yes, that's very true. That's very true, because we do have to, reinvent ourselves by, if we've dealt with a lot of negativity, we have to replace that with positivity. We have to be positive, and we have to associate with people that are on the same, have the same mindset that we do. We have to take time off for ourselves. We have to breathe. Sometimes just take 5 deep breaths, just let it in and let it out. Whatever we can find to do that works, that's what we have to do.
Finding and doing what works, guys. I know y'all heard that, but I wanted to repeat it, because finding what works a lot of times is the easier part of that. Doing what works is sometimes where we need the accountability. We need people like Miss Linda that can, we might have to get on the phone with and say, okay, I found some things that may work, but I need that accountability. I need that push, to make sure that I'm doing this consistently.
Yes, now that is true. Accountability is the key, because a lot of people who were before the virus happened were active, going to the Y, going to the gym, going to doing everyday life, but can't do it now. So you really need to check in with somebody, because you were doing it because of your health. And I'm a stickler on doing what's right when it comes to your health. And why? Because we want to be here a long time. We want to enjoy life. We want to have a happy, fulfilled life, in spite of the bad things that happen to us sometimes. But we do have to, accountability is very important. Yes.
Most definitely. So tell us a little bit more about your book.
Okay, I have 2 books, and they're dear to my heart. The first one is jealousy or envy. Is there a killer in you? Stop the war within and be set free. The killer is not a person, shooting somebody or stabbing someone. It is jealousy or envy and the words that come due to that. When we can't celebrate someone else's success, due to jealousy. We say bad things or we do, things to that person or against that person. And in the book, the message is, I tell how jealousy and envy is manifested, sometimes from low self-esteem or things that happened during our childhood or things that were spoken over us by significant others. The book, it has lots of scripture. It's really, if someone likes scriptures or prayers, it's very good for, people who like to read that way. And it's encouraging. It's there as a guidebook. You don't have to read it like in order of chapters. You can, skip around. Because some people say, then I went to this chapter or that chapter, and, and it tells how to overcome it with, I believe in, it's a faith, written on a faith basis. And I believe that we can overcome by scriptures and meditation and declaration and affirmation. So this book is an encouragement. If you've been through domestic violence or bullied at work or at school or at home, I personally don't feel there's an age limit because we all, hurts can come as childhood, and a lot of people that read the book, I was just told last week, Linda, this brought back so much. And now I understand, and I'm 45 years old, the abuse and the domestic violence that she went through with her husband. So that's jealousy or envy. Is there a killer in you? And the other one is speak positively and expect the victory. Words of wisdom. And this is another book that doesn't have to be, it doesn't have to be read in order. You can just read whatever chapter. And some of the chapters are for singles, for couples, children, encouraging taking care of yourself. And it's all about speaking positive over your life. Speaking positive over your life, words of wisdom. And there are scriptures in this book as well.
Now, I love that because I know a lot of times we have come through so much as women.
Yes.
In general, we've come through so much that when we start to actually vocalize what we've been through, we find that we're not alone. No. And so, I absolutely love, that people are finding that, okay, there's someone else that went through it and they came out on the other side.
Right.
Now, but before you wrote the first book, did you have that same drive to want to share your story?
I did because I was in public health, a public health social worker for 27 plus years. I just retired from social work 2 years ago. So in my personal life and working with others and family, these things happen. We are hurt, we are abused, and we are wounded. And sometimes people don't really talk about it until they're older, because they didn't understand it as a child. So, and I wrote the jealousy or envy is a killer in you because we may go to the faith community, but we really don't hear it preached or taught that well. I feel like we use it loosely, like, oh girl, I'm just so jealous of those shoes. We just throw the word around, but it has a lot of meaning, and words hurt.
Oh, yes, indeed they do. I know when I was in school, I was going to school for social work. And so my mother was a foster mother, and I've even gone through kinship care for my sister. And so looking at it and knowing the social work industry, the human services industry from both sides of the spectrum, man, there is a lot that you come in contact with when it comes to the stories of families, the stories of children, the stories of women. How were you able to not take it home with you?
That's a good question, and it's all about a decision. I helped them change their lives and everything. But every day before I went home, that was my prayer. I said, Lord, I know I was a light for someone, but I can't take it home with me. And it's just a decision that we have to make. You do pain, I feel I love people. And, I just do. And I feel, and you just have to disconnect, but you're still there with them. Because my clients used to say, oh, Ms. Thompson, I can cry with you. I can laugh with you. I was that safe haven for them, but I knew I couldn't, I couldn't take it home with me. But, and I pick it up, the next day. You think
Most
about
definitely.
it, but you can't do anything.
Oh, yeah. I asked that question because I know a lot of people, even though right now we're on this almost like a hiatus, right? So
Oh,
we're home and, they may be going back to that stressful job, or there are some who are still working in this stressful environment and they have to create a habit of not taking that home with them. It's crazy. I've seen the videos of nurses and doctors who, after pulling a 13-hour shift, are in tears.
yes. Yes, I've been at work, I went to the bathroom many times and I just cried. But if pain, hurt, the situation may be different, but the feel is still the same regardless. And we all, songs that we all bleed the same. That's true. You just have to put a different label on the hurt, but it's all the same. It's all the same.
Definitely. So I absolutely love that. So taking the time, for some of you, it may be before you walk out the door. For some of you, it may be when you get into your vehicle. Just take that. She talked about, Miss Linda talked about taking those deep breaths.
Yes.
Take those deep breaths and give it away. Just put it to the side.
Right. And just take time for yourself. In my bathroom, I have all kinds of affirmation, that I'm wonderful. I will get through this day. I can handle this. Whatever you have to do, if it's affirmation, declarations, whatever, go away to the beach, the mountain, whatever you like. Get around something new, something different. And like I said before, be around positive people and don't let anyone tell you that you're not beautiful, you're not wonderful. You have a purpose. We all do.
Indeed, we do. So now, I always ask this question of every guest that comes on: is in this journey, have you had any moments that you look back on and you're like, that was not the best choice on my part, or a blunder is something that really stands out in your head, like, okay, I would redo that a little differently?
Well, some depend on some situation, but I thought about that the other day. We've some of us have been through, broken relationships. You break up with somebody and say, yo, you never be and nobody never loved you. I think women have heard that was in a not so good relationship sometime. But we just have to just keep moving forward. I don't, some things you can change, you might would have done different. But as far as some of the trials and stuff I went through, I would never be able to connect with someone else had I not felt that. So I really honestly can say I'm glad I know what it feels like. Because we can be insensitive because we never really been there, So, with everything we could have done something different. But it's a learning. When we go through something terrible or something not so good, it's a learning. And it's always for someone else. It's not all
Oh,
about
yes.
it's for somebody else. So
I want you guys to take a hold of that piece, because in this time, this is definitely a moment for you to know that, okay, your words, your actions, your presence it's showing, it's powerful, it's valuable.
yes,
And there can be an insensitivity when we don't understand what people are going through. But right now, the world, we're all going through, this together. And no matter what part of the world you're in, it may look a little different, but we're still going through the same thing.
that's true. And don't lose hope. Just believe and just keep just keep doing what you need to do to feel better as a person, and to be there for someone else, and reach out to someone else too, that can assist you and help you see the way.
Most definitely. So I'm super excited, guys. You know, this episode is one that's near and dear to my heart because I've had to go through that process of reinventing who I was. And it was never reinventing myself to show on the outward, being somebody different, but it was to feel on the inside something different. And so, Miss Linda, let them know how they can reach out to you and where they can find you at online.
Okay, you can find me on my website is www.lindathompson.org, and there's I'm starting a blog, and my books are there, and my books can be found on Amazon and the other online bookstores, and also my Instagram, my Twitter is Linda Thompson. But the best way to really stay connected with me is through my website.
Great. So guys, you definitely want to make sure that you reach out and connect if you need someone to talk to, if you want to get a copy of the book. This is your opportunity. This is your moment.
Yes. Oh, and I do want to add that I am a health and life coach, because when I retired, I wanted to continue what I do. So I've been certified for that for a little over a year, for a health and life coach.
I love that, because a lot of times, those of you that don't know, when you have come across people who are in the service industry, we don't want to stop serving.
No, we can't do that.
We don't want to stop serving. Like, we still want to serve in some capacity. Because it's within us, it's ingrained in our DNA that we just want to make sure that people are okay.
Yes.
So I absolutely love that. So guys, make sure that you let us know how this particular episode resonated with you. Come join the conversation, bit.ly/speakeasy podcast show, all lowercase. Leave us a review over on our Apple Podcasts, and we'll definitely shout you out on our future episodes. With that being said, we appreciate you guys. This has been an amazing episode. Share it out with your family, your friends, your timeline, because somebody else may need this information as well. And until next time, guys, don't forget to press it out.
Thank you.